going further away from mimicking nature towards less diversity, less carbon in your soils, more floods, greater intensity of droughts because of what your soil surface is like, that's just not a good path to go down. Grazing differently can not only stop that, but it can start to rebuild the organic carbon levels in our soils.
For me, it comes down to the soil, and that's the science nerd in me. The reason we're grazing our cows this way is to improve soil health, and soil health improves your grass health, creating a healthy product in the end. And if we can continue to create that healthy product while we're improving the landscape, then we can continue to have these rural ranching communities that will thrive for years to come.
We're not going to lose our biological capacity overnight. It's just going to slowly drip away. 10 years from now, 30 years from now, 60 years from now, we'll never really know what happened, even though you can actually see it coming and is actually preventable.
I think every rancher is an optimist. They have to be. My great-grandfather used to say, we've had 2 good years, 1912 and next year. So you've got to be optimistic about the future.
It's a special skill to do things differently without it being perceived that you're disregarding the past in your family's legacy. It's not that. It's about moving forward. The challenge of holistic management going forward is to change that message that what we're doing here, it's not change happening to you, it's change happening for you. It's for your business and for your family.
There's very few operations around here that have the same kind of philosophical attitude about what to do with the land. I'm not saying what the other people is there anything wrong with it. They're plumb happy doing what they're doing. Some of them are successful, some of them are not. Personally, I feel it was the right decision at the right time. Looking back, I would have done it again.
We as people in this place are still trying to understand what our role here is. It's important to wake up every day and recognize that there's way more we don't know than we actually do know.
More Under the Big Sky coming up in just a moment when we take you to Eugene's Pizza in Glasgow. Back-to-back Best Pizza in Montana winner, Eugene's Pizza in Glasgow really hasn't changed much in 55 years. Mary Sue Knodel, now in her 80s, helps her sons and current owners Sam and Jeff continue to make pizza with the same recipes in the same location that the family has operated 7 days a week for decades.
Eugene's is a lot of things to a lot of people. I think we're kind of a, how do I say it? Kind of a fixture in Glasgow, I would say.
We see college kids here before mom and dad see them.
We've had marriage proposals here, first dates. They're sitting on the same side of the table. It's like, all right, first date.
We've had people say this is the best pizza that they've ever had. And people that live in big cities will come and say, this is still the best. And I think it has a lot to do with the dough and sauce.
Eugene's was started by a man named Eugene Barger back in 1962. In 1967, my parents bought Eugene's.
Sam was only 11 months old. He's basically spent his whole life here.
I was just here all the time. Build things out of cardboard boxes, basketball hoops out of number 10 tin cans.
I started making pizzas when I was 15 for $1.60 an hour.
In high school, I worked here a little bit, but then I went off to college. My parents were getting close to wanting to get out of doing this. They'd done it for 25 years. Jeff was delivering beer and wine at the time, and I was actually fixing copiers. We talked about it. You know what, let's just do it.
About a month into it, we looked at each other and said, what did we get ourselves into?
We've continued to run it for 25 years. Coming to this same building for 50 years. So a long time. But it's just what we do. My mom, she's been with us the whole entire time.
You don't see a lot of 80-year-old women working as hard as she does.
I used to work more than I do. After having heart surgery, I decided I'd cut down one day.
She can work circles around most younger people.
You kind of just better get out of her way because she's moving and shaking.
Usually, I start breading chicken, cutting potatoes, make dressings.
She's chopping lettuce, she's portioning ribs.
Hey, Mom, have you got time to make dough? Last night, we went through about 5 batches of dough, so you're gonna have to start with a big batch tonight, but I'll try to get that all ready for them.
She still does all the laundry. I can do it. She says she does it better, she gets it whiter, so we just let her.
I kind of know what's going on.
She just does so much that people don't realize. She'll work all night long, leave at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and she might not have sat down the whole night. And she might not have eaten. She'll go home and she'll have cold cereal. She's the hardest worker I know. Crazy. Basically, since my dad's time, we have not changed a thing. You know, so if somebody says, well, it tastes different, well, it shouldn't.
Always the dough the same, always the sauce.
I mix all the pizza spices myself. I use the same exact measuring that he used. We don't change anything. We have 3 ovens, top oven, bottom oven, new oven. The new oven, which is no longer a new oven, it's like 1974. I always say that everybody should work in a restaurant at least once in their life. On a Friday, we're so busy that we get about 5 to 6 batches of dough ready to go, 280 pizzas, roughly. We've been throwing the dough for basically 55 years. People say, well, why do you do it? And we say, well, it's because we can. A lot of people talk about it, a lot of people love it. Get done cleaning, do the till, get home about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's a long day. My dad died in 2010. His presence, you know, him not being here, that was kind of a big deal. He worked every day, and he used to be open until 2:15 in the morning. I don't know how he did it. We kind of struggle with time the way it is right now. And we had my dad's funeral, we had everybody come here. All the employees came down and made pizzas.
There were 58 former employees at the funeral. They really have supported us.
So he's a big part of this place and always will be.
I still have people asking, when are you gonna retire?
I can see she's exhausted at night, and I'll say, how long do you want to do this? And she's like, I'll do it till I can't do it anymore. I know for a fact that she does it to help Jeff and I.
I would not work like I do if they didn't work like they did.
She could want to be done at any time.
I told her she can't. I don't think she wants to. I wouldn't care if she slowed down, but I still want her around.
So I don't know. I don't think she'll retire and just play cards, you know. We'll have to wait and see. The restaurant business, it's a tough deal.
Just the day-to-day things of trying to keep your head above water.
I get a little bit bitter just because my kids are getting older now and I'm missing things that I want to be there for. So that's a little bit hard. It's just a balancing act, you know. Just do what you can.
You miss a little bit of stuff with having to work nights and weekends, but it's just like any job. You don't want to go, but once you get there, it's all right.
I see families grow from 1 kid to 4 kids over the years. Parents go from young to old. I've been here that long, so that's one of the nicest things about this business is I've gotten to know so many good people. So I'm very thankful for that.
Well, I think we're a real integral part of the business community.
Every now and then we have some hiccups and mistakes and stuff, but we try to do the absolutely best job we can.
They almost always have pizza.
I truly think it's the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
It is my favorite pizza.
I had one on Monday. I'm eating the pizza going, good God, this is good. So I still love it. I'm very proud of what we sell and what we do. We got a lot of huge fans out there. Yeah, it's just a big deal to a lot of people. It's a big deal to Jeff and I, and my mom, all the employees, all these kids that work here. It's pretty neat. Yeah.
Coming up, Native American hip-hop artist Superman, right after this. Superman is a Native American hip-hop artist and activist from Crow Agency. He uses his unique blend of modern music and indigenous tradition to confront lingering issues in our society and to ensure that Native traditions are preserved for the future.
The values that I was taught about dancing were taught to me by my grandfather, who was Frank Textigan. He said, you want to come out to this circle, you can't just come out and try to win money, try to look cool. You know, he said, that's not why we dance. The ones who are out there spectating, those are the people that you dance for. Some of them, maybe they're in wheelchairs. He said, you dance for them. Some of them have heavy hearts. They lost a loved one, so you dance for them. When you dance, the people can see your heart. If it's in a good place, their spirit is uplifted. Healing takes place. Let your steps be a prayer. It's a celebration. The relationship that America has with its indigenous people, it's not a good one. People will look at Native people and say, high suicide rate there, you know, alcoholism. Why can't they just get it together like everybody else? But they don't understand what was done to the Native people had a devastating effect. War, genocide, hate, being told that you're evil, that you're less human, devastating impact, you know, on who we are, our culture, our identity. It's kind of like a bomb. Each generation is feeling that shockwave still. The whole culture of hip hop, I was really drawn towards it, you know, because I thought it was just really cool. Also, what the rappers were talking about, the inner cities and the struggle of being oppressed. What they were talking about was like, hey, what we were going through too. Kind of gave us a voice. As time went on, we heard natives rapping. These guys are telling their story. Shoot, I'll tell my story too, you know? So we would freestyle and we would write lyrics down. We started expressing ourselves, talking about the res. Oh, hey, you know, this guy's from the res, you know, like me, you know? I really loved the sound of scratching. I saved up money, you know, firefighting to like buy myself a turntable. I would just spend hours, you know, just perfecting my craft. We just had to learn everything ourselves. Hearing somebody else saying, hey, that sounds good, you know, man, that's cool. That passion always just built up. I finally got introduced to an artist who was doing what I wanted to do. He was a native out there, like rapping and traveling. I sent him my demo, and he's like, yo, I like it. Let's work together. Let's go out on tour. Okay, I'm gonna make this sacrifice. I'm gonna leave my family and go out here. And so that's what I did. Early on, my mind was in a different place. And I started to kind of get a little taste of fame, so to speak. I enjoyed that. It made me feel good. I made some mistakes in that realm. Thinking about what I did, you know, thinking about my family, my wife, and, you know, my future, just everything. I was just like, nah, that's not who I want to be, you know. I don't really want to be this person, you know. I don't want to be this guy. Right after that, I started taking steps towards being that person of positivity and love and expressing that through my music. Speaking out for Native rights or, you know, human rights, I was never that person. I was just like, go with the flow type.